Hello, this is Just Listen, hosted by George. Today is June 20th, 2024. Welcome to the show. Today I want to talk about U.S. government policy on the 2024 elections and race. I was reading this article from a Democrat in South Carolina. His name is Jim Clyburn. He's a very prominent Democrat in the Democratic Party. So, what he was talking about is there's been some media disinformation, and he's blaming that for President Trump gaining support in the black community, in the minority community. It says that in two swing states, which are Pennsylvania and Michigan, that Biden has lost 20% of the black vote. And the congressman also argues that the reason that Trump is gaining and Biden is losing is because, get this, he blames it on the media because he says that they are putting out misinformation, or as he calls it, disinformation, to give Trump credit for things that he shouldn't be getting credit for. He also said people feel depressed. If you depress enough people, you can suppress the votes. Now, he said this, and the reason that I want to talk about this is because, as you know, I like to look at facts versus the emotion. So, in general, the majority of Americans, and I said Americans because that's who we are concerned about crime and violence, hunger and homelessness, the economy, the availability of affordability of health care, federal spending, and the budget deficit. I also looked at, because there was a study from Pew that was directed at black voters, since apparently they vote differently than the rest of the country. And guess what I found out? They really do not. I found, and I'll give you the flavor of some of these: strengthening the economy. That's in what most Americans are wanting. Making Social Security sound, reducing health care costs, reducing crime. So they are the same issues. So my first question was, why is it that we think that black issues or minority issues, because we have to include Hispanics and Asian in this equation, why is their opinions different on what the priority should be? Now, I will note that domestically, they talked about addressing issues around race. Well, the media was really responsible for that, and I kind of laughed about it because it's kind of interesting that someone like the congressman blames the media, but yet the media has promoted that there's huge problems with race in the country. There's also another one that I thought was preventing the spread of weapons of mass destruction. And that's a concern, but it wouldn't be in the top 15. So I thought that that was interesting. And I'm making the point of saying that the issues are American issues, and that people of color, whatever you want to say the persuasion is, as far as the group, they are starting to look at issues in the actual country, not that people are giving them bad information, and the congressman is kind of saying that the minorities are being led and they are believing it, and it's almost like he's saying that they're easily led like sheep, like they don't understand what they should be promoting. Locally here in the St. Louis area, I follow the politicians, and there is a Democrat running now on that he did stuff for Ferguson, and he's saying that he will protect black interests. And if I could ever meet this guy, I would want to know what black interests are. Because wouldn't black interests be American interests? Now, I want to talk about what I think is dragging down the Democrats. The Democrats are being dragged down in several states because of some of the progressive Democrats don't like the support for Israel. And if you watch the news, you look at the media, we're actually seeing that within the House of Representatives, there is a alignment with a congresswoman from Michigan that they are opposed to the war and also of the actions of the Israelis. And remember, in the primaries, that President Joe Biden got the downvote from that group. And for Democrats, that's a problem. So that has nothing to do with race whatsoever in the black community. The next one is immigration. Well, that's a big problem in the country because we have people coming in, and I've talked about this before, and we are expending a lot of resources on them. Now, I've read, seen it on the news. Remember Chicago? They were upset because the mayor of Chicago was upset because of resources. Why? Because the immigrants were getting the resources, not Chicagoans who needed it. Then there's the deficit. Now, the majority of Americans do talk about the deficit. And people are starting to notice because, as you know, when you have a deficit, that causes other issues. And in the information I showed you about black voters, they are worried about it as well because it's an American issue and it's in their best interest as well. So it has nothing to do with being black. It has to do with the current president's actions and how that's led to some kind of deficit. Social Security. As you know, Social Security is in jeopardy, and it's a problem for every American. Social Security doesn't look at race and say, oh, okay, well, if it's this person, then they're going to get that amount. It's based on how much money you are making. And the president, the current president, I haven't seen any articles that he's even talked about it. What he's talked about is raising taxes on rich people, and he can't do that without the Congress. But the point of the podcast is this. After I read the article from the representative of South Carolina, Representative Clyburn, he's saying that the problem is with the media and disinformation. I would ask him and others what part of the information that is being said is not true. We have a high deficit. Immigration is a problem. We have inflation, and whoever is currently in the White House gets the blame for it. And for one group of people to follow someone blindly just because they are black, which is what he's implying that they should follow the president no matter what he's doing because he's black and he'll look out for him. Well, the president is supposed to look out for the whole country, and race politics within any party, I believe, is bad. And I'm a little offended that someone thinks that I vote on someone based on black issues. Black issues are American issues, like I said before. And we are better together and we're better governed, no matter who's president, if we look at their ideas and how they affect the country. This is Just Listen, hosted by George. Let me know what you think.